Welcome to Catalyst Conversations, the podcast where we spark powerful change in women's wealth. I'm Hadriana Leo, a wealth coach, counselor, and strategist, and each week we dive into the conversations, strategies, and stories that help women confidently create the life they've always dreamed of. So grab your favorite bevy, settle in, and let's get started on transforming your relationship with money. This is Catalyst Conversations, igniting change in women's wealth. Let's spark the conversation. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Catalyst Conversations. I'm so happy to be exploring with you how we can navigate the seasons of wealth. Now, you've heard me share this in the past, and I think it's a rather simple concept that just revolutionizes our experiences with wealth. It's this: wealth is a journey, not a destination. So let's break that down. So often we set ourselves a number, this huge number with endless zeros, and we say when we hit this number in our account, or when we have this many assets, or when we have so little debt, we will feel wealthy, or we will finally have arrived, we will be wealthy. I challenge that because I think the journey is wealth. The experiences you have, the people you encounter, the lives you change, the purpose you fulfill, the impact you have and you can create. I believe all of that is wealth. That means wealth is the journey, it's not the destination. And so everyone, regardless of what you have in your bank account, you can experience wealth. And as we grow, we develop, we become, we realize that we enter into various stages of wealth. So your journey develops, it changes, it grows, it evolves, but we are all on the wealth journey. It's life, it's the life that we're living, and we have specific outcomes that we want to achieve. But all in all, wealth is the journey. So, with that in mind, I think, especially considering what's happening around us right now, as at the point of recording this, it's craziness economically in North America. And while I won't go into the details, it doesn't require like an entire economy or entire geographical area to be in turmoil for you to have your own turmoil financially, relationally, emotionally, socially, what have you. So acknowledge that the circumstances around you are quite possibly less than ideal for what you are anticipating for your wealth journey, for where you're trying to get to, for the results you're trying to generate. So you might be feeling overwhelmed. You might be feeling stuck. You might be feeling like this is completely out of control. And yes, that happens too. You might be having all the feelings and not able to change anything by your direct actions. Change is going to come from or be contributed to by external actions. Worse yet, you might be feeling like you should be somewhere else in your wealth. You might be feeling like, oh my goodness, look at all the opportunities I've had. I should be here, but I'm here. You might be saying to yourself, look at all the money I've made in my life. I should have all of this money saved, but look, I have very little. Should is your undoing. And when we look at wealth through the lens of a journey and through the lenses of seasons, we will realize that you may be exactly where you need to be. The actions you need to take will be determined by where you are and by what comes next. So let's explore the seasons of wealth. Let's explore what happens when you embrace the season you're in and you prepare well in anticipation for what is next. Sometimes your seasons are a natural flow of, the decisions you've made and the actions you've taken. Other times, your season is forced upon you. Like I said, economic turmoil, political turmoil, even personal turmoil, grief, divorce. The circumstances around you may artificially create a season for yourself, but recognizing that season is very, very vital to you actually maneuvering past that season or beyond that to what's next. Now, mind you, I'm saying going beyond it. That is not to say you have to rush past it or try to have it disappear before it's good and ready. Make the best use of the season you're in so that you are best situated, best prepared for what comes next. So, in doing so, you also need to release the idea of this finish line mentality. And I've spoken about this before, I've written about it in my book. The idea of the finish line is one of the biggest saboteurs of our wealth journey. The idea that when I arrive here, I've arrived and I have no further to go, that is an illusion. It's just going to mess you up. So instead, I want you to learn how to focus on where you are now, enjoying that, and living fully in your current experience, taking what you need from it so that you can blossom and bloom with what comes next. So let's start it off. Let's understand the 4 seasons of financial wellness, of your wealth journey. And we're going to start with, when it comes to Mother Nature, my least favorite season, we're going to start with winter. One of the things I can acknowledge is that when it comes to Mother Nature, I have had to learn to love winter because it does something vital for me. I've gone so far as to align my business activities with the natural cycles of life, because for me to do otherwise was forcing things to happen that were not supposed to be happening. They were not happening in flow. It was not working well for me. And it was not the season for that. So let's talk about wealth winter. That is the time for resting. That's the time for reflecting. And that's the time for planning. It's the time when you may feel some contraction. You might feel like income might not be as high as it was. It might be focused maybe on some debt. You might see the potential for overwhelm in that time. That is the season when you need to go deep and seek clarity. And that's the C in my care coaching methodology. The financial winter, the wealth winter, is a time for getting clear. It's the time for looking inwards. It's the time for getting answers. It's also a time for honesty, understanding where you are, not making excuses, not playing the victim, but taking clear stock of where you are and getting really crystal clear about what has contributed to me being where I am now. Can I stop now and take a breath? Let go of the shoulda, woulda, coulda. Breathe and get clear. This is the time when you should be planning your cash flows, getting your budgeting set up. It's the time when you should be doing the mindset work, getting a clear understanding of what blocks are in your way, setting yourself up for success by challenging the thoughts that you have that are not serving you, that are not actually in line with your spiritual beliefs. They are not in line with the experiences that you've had. They are someone else's story, and you need to challenge these thoughts during financial winters. It is not time to try to force growth. It's not time to be trying to do that. Oh my goodness, it worked for me and it's going to work for you. You only have to do this. It's not the time for that. It's the time to do some foundational building, and it's a time to get clear on who you are, what you want, where you are, and where you want to be. Second, next, wealth spring. That is a time for planting. And you guys may have heard, but I'm just going to say it again. I love dirt on my hands. I don't need the worms all over my hands, but I love seeing them in the dirt. I know that they do good things. It's the same for your wealth journey. During our wealth spring season, it's time for us to be starting new habits, implementing the plans that we developed during our wealth winter. It's a time when the feelings of hope and potential are allowed to just blossom, and it does require effort. Just like if you're starting up in your garden, it's going to take some elbow grease and some knee pads because you're going to be down in the dirt and you're getting things done. So during your financial spring, you're looking at implementation and you can expect some effort. This is the time when you will focus on alignment, which is the A in our care coaching methodology. It's time to build momentum and to create systems. Your wealth spring is that time when new things are happening. And if you're feeling that spot, if you're feeling that that's where you're in right now, it's time to explore how they're going to align, how they're going to sit together. Some of the actions that take place during that alignment period are, automating your savings, because you can do that. You're looking at consistent debt payments. It's time for you to look at setting these systems up. You might want to start or launch a business or start investing. Patience is the key here. You are setting things up in the spring. You're setting up for what's coming next. So you must be patient and you have to be ready to do the work, to put in the effort and to set it up, because let me tell you, once it is set up well, your wealth summer, which is coming next, is going to just be beautiful. So let's dive into it. Wealth summers are all about thriving. It's about momentum and it is about active growth. Strategies are working. You can see tangible results, which is the R in our care coaching methodology. Your confidence is increased. You are more in control of your wealth and your finances. And it's a time for expansion and maximizing growth. This is where you're going to go after it. It's like when you put the fertilizer on your plants. This is the time when you are getting all your ducks set up. You're putting all your effort. You're getting all your support systems in place so that you can maximize growth. This is when you're going to start talking about optimizing your debt elimination and speeding it up. This is where you're going to talk about, let's shuffle things around in the deck a little bit so you have more money going towards your high priority items, and you can let some of the others sit, simmer, and rest for a little bit. This is about increasing and maximizing your savings and investments. It's about, tackling some of those bigger goals that you've had and scaling your effort. It does require active management. This is not the time when things simmer. This is the time when you are at a full rolling boil and things are moving quickly. So you have to keep your eye on your finances during your wealth summers. It's imperative that you don't let this just take off on you without an active eye on things. And we can dig deeper into what active wealth management looks like in your wealth summers, but that's for another episode. Definitely not for this one. So finally, let's talk about your wealth autumns or your fall. It's amazing. As an immigrant to the country, I came from a country that didn't have the four seasons in the way that we experience them in North America. So experiencing it for myself, it wasn't just a temperature change. It was actually seeing the entire environment change as the seasons unfolded. And I have always been so fascinated with the season that is autumn. It is amazing to me how everything just kind of consolidates. It falls in on itself. It's a time when the fruits will give you their last few little bits that you can enjoy. And the flowers decide, okay, we're going to rest now. And the leaves fall off because the wind picks up. and everything just starts to cool, and the squirrels are crazy all over the place, gathering, scampering, they're putting things away. You see nature really transition and embrace the season that is fall. And for our finances, it's time for us to reap rewards and hit some milestones. This is where we're going to see the work that we've done in the summers, in our wealth summer, the work that we have put in. It's now saying, hey, full cycle, full cycle. It's time to reap the benefits. It's time to actually enjoy everything that you have created, everything that you've produced, the impact, the purpose, the lifestyle, all of that. It's time for you to actually reap those rewards. That is the evolution part, the E in our care coaching model. And it's about celebrating your wins. It's about acknowledging that you've worked hard and that now is the time for you to celebrate. It's about consolidating and preparing for what comes next. It's about considering legacy and impact. And for many of us, we look at this time as, time to rebalance, time to take a look at what worked, what didn't work. Long-term strategies need to be reviewed. Your purposeful saving and investing for the future. That is when you're looking at all of these, reviewing and taking a look again. And essentially, your fall is a time of bringing things in, bringing everything that has been out and producing, and you've been getting those maximal results. It's time for reining it all in, gathering it back in, enjoying those results, and then starting to think about the next cycle. One thing I want to say before I go on to how we can embrace the seasons, or the benefits of embracing the seasons, I want us to understand that your seasons of wealth do not align with your age. Don't fall for that myth that you have to hustle, work hard while you're young, in your 20s, your 30s, and all that, and then you only get to enjoy your wealth when you're retiring, because our lives kind of take on that seasonality as well. That time we're growing up, we're finding our feet, we're establishing our careers, perhaps starting families, and then peaking in our careers, in our income earning, and then going on with our lives towards retirement. That is the temptation. But I'm going to encourage you to embrace these cycles on a much smaller scale, because if we wait to retire to enjoy the benefits of the work that we've put into this life, many of us will never enjoy life. And I don't care what spiritual belief system you have, we were created to find joy in this life. It's not some far-fetched thing that we have to wait for nirvana or heaven. Joy is here for us now. And not many of us will have the luxury of retirement with ease and without having to, worry or think about anything else. So many things in our economy, in our world have changed, that if we don't put in the plan to enjoy life moment by moment on a day-to-day basis, the idea of retiring and being happy is never going to happen for us. It's just the nature of things as they stand right now. So embrace the seasons of your wealth in micro doses, in smaller doses. I know economically right now, things are a little sketchy, and maybe it's a circumstance that you're dealing with on a smaller scale, maybe just in your world. But understand that we need to embrace the cycle of, resting and renewal. We need to embrace that this is happening. The options, the opportunities to grow, the opportunities to plant, the opportunities to reap, they need to happen in smaller cycles so that we can have a life that is full and rich and full of purpose. And we can live well now. So here are some benefits of embracing the wealth seasons. One, it reduces shame. Remember, I spoke about, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Instead of being ashamed of where you are now, you can normalize the period of rest for yourself now. If that's where you are, if you're in a period of slower growth, it's not failure, it's a season. Now, granted, if that's the only season you've ever had, we need to talk. We totally need to talk. But if you are in this time of contraction, this time when things are just slow and your best efforts are not producing what you think they should, perhaps it's time for that rest and reflection and to seek clarity so that you can renew and start a new cycle. So the one benefit of embracing those wealth seasons is the reduction of shame. You don't have to feel like you have failed. You can understand that it's just the season you're in. Another one is that it promotes alignment of strategies. When you can take the time to review, to clarify when it is time to implement, when it's time to start planting and seeding and developing those strategies, you can get now the alignment that you're needing in order for things to run smoothly. I know in the garden they talk about plants that grow well together. Complementary planting is a great thing. And if you can do that, imagine how much better your garden's going to be because you're getting multiple benefits because of the way you've taken the time to learn and now implement the strategy. Same thing for your wealth. Align your results, align your priorities, not just for the outcomes that you want to get, but for the values that are important to you. Another benefit is that it helps you manage your expectations. So you're not expecting to be harvesting great returns on investment in a time when you are only now planting and seeding for your wealth. It also helps build resilience. You know when you're going to be in a marathon period and you know when you're going to be in a sprint. Different times, different seasons, you can build your resilience so you know when you got to go long and you know when you can hit it hard and move on. And finally, it really, and probably my favorite, it helps us enjoy the journey now. It helps us find joy, peace, and contentment in where we are now. It helps us stop with the complaining, with the, oh my God, if only, or oh my goodness, this is not, this is this, yeah, whiny, whiny, whiny. By embracing our seasons within our wealth journey, we're able to enjoy now, focus on now, and be present now. I'll tell you the truth. We do not have the control we think we have of our futures. We are here doing the best we can of the circumstances that we have been dealt. So why not choose to make the best of now? Tomorrow will take care of itself. Focus on loving, living, wealthing well now. So all of these are great benefits of embracing the seasons of wealth. And I hope that you can make that choice. I hope that you can decide to embrace where you are in this moment and choose to move forward, to prepare for what comes next. And when it's time to take action, you can take action confidently, you can take action with purpose, and you can take action that creates results for you. So let me know your thoughts on embracing and navigating the seasons of wealth. I'd love your comments in this episode. I'd love to get your feedback. And I'm looking forward to being here with you for another episode of Catalyst Conversations. Until next time, see ya. Thank you for joining me today on Catalyst Conversations. I hope this episode sparked something powerful to help on your journey to building wealth confidently and unapologetically. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep moving toward your goals, stay empowered, and continue sparking change on your wealth journey. This is Hadriana, and you've been listening to Catalyst Conversations.